You're listening to the NVus Alien Podcast with your host, Heather Woodward, an award-winning psychic, supernatural author, and lover of all things true crime. On this show, we're going to deep dive into topics that don't usually see the light of day. The spooky, the weird, the macabre, the paranormal, and of course, aliens. Sit back, grab a cup of tea, and let's get on with the show.
You want answers, not motivational quotes pretending to be guidance. You want the truth that changes things. That's where I come in. I read energy like a detective. Your patterns, your blocks, the turning points you feel coming but can't name yet. I translate what the universe has already lined up for you. I'm Heather, psychic, coach, witch. 25 years of helping people stop the self-sabotage and step into their power. If you're ready to move, text me 25224194447. Real guidance, real clarity. Zero games. That's me, 25224194447. Let's pull the cards and see what happens next. Now put your tinfoil hat on. Curiosity engaged. Let's get into the podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the NVus Alien Podcast. Today we are here with Stephanie again, and we are going to be talking about something just kind of, I don't know what it is. It's weird. It's weird and it's off, and it's something that we do naturally that we didn't realize we did naturally. And we're going to be talking about like spirit communication and protection and all the things that you do in order to not be a dick. And yeah, there you go. How are you doing, Steph?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing today, Heather?
I'm doing okay. So this all came about because you and I have investigated a lot in the last, 5 or 6 years?
Yeah,
About that.
Yeah.
And you've been to like most of the haunted places that I have gone to. We've done it together, like 90% of it, I believe.
Yeah. And not just little tiny haunted places either.
We've gone on big adventures all over the United States. So we don't just stay in one little area and be like, oh, look, we did this little cemetery.
We go to the places they say, oh, the most haunted.
And we're like, okay, let's see about that and test the water. We have done a fair bit of investigating, and you have a special kind of affinity to some spirits. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can pick up on them and embody them. And okay, tell people I'm just giving you keywords here.
I'm super empathic, so I usually pick up on the emotions and like the personalities of the people more than I see them or hear them. More of an embodiment of the person, and that's usually how they communicate with me. Whereas you do it completely different.
I'm more of like an antenna. I just attract things my way. I just bring them in. I've been going through a lot of footage that we've taken throughout the years, and I do notice that I facilitate a lot. So I just kind of, oh, there's a ghost over there. What is it? What? And then I ask somebody else because I can talk to them, but it's easier if somebody else does it.
And then I get shoved into corners.
We've had other people with us with varying degrees of abilities or whatever that tend to usually hopefully enhance.
I'd say so most of the time. That's what it is.
I went on this adventure by myself a couple of weeks ago, and it pissed me off. Like, it really upset me. And the person that I was with, it actually upset her too. And she's not even in the paranormal. And she was just sitting there watching it going, what the hell is this? This is very uncomfortable and it doesn't feel good. And this is not how it's supposed to be. And I had that same feeling of, I want to get out of this room because I'm going to say something really rude. I'll give you the very short version. I was at a metaphysical fair and I was selling books and doing readings, and a person was doing this demonstration, and he proceeded to talk for 45 minutes about quantum entanglement and what is it called? Quantum immortality. Do you know what quantum immortality is?
No, I can guess, but for
Guess.
listeners.
Go ahead, guess.
So obviously, quantum, we're talking about not physical. So if you're talking about quantum immortality, it'd be, I'd say, like spirits and ghosts, and not like after you pass, you're still here and you still have the spirit communication. That's what I would say, what you're communicating with.
Yeah, it's energy that doesn't go anywhere, but it also can create parallel universes too, because your energy doesn't shift, it just changes. It doesn't go away. So quantum immortality is just a stupid way of saying that your energy doesn't dissipate, it just goes somewhere else. Every choice we have has some kind of quantum immortality because it goes into another choice somewhere else. But like, it's stupid to bring that up in a group of people that 90% are just going there for a demonstration of spirit communication. All you have to say is parallel universes and then talk about Marvel because that's where people are at. You know what I mean? Talk about the multiverse. That's quantum immortality. Anyway, so he made this machine. I don't know. Anyway, I was not impressed. Let's just put it that way. Not trying to be a dick. I am one of those people. If you have a cool thing that you want to show us and it's different than anything else I've seen, I'm all like, yes, show me the thing. Let's do this. I'm like pro invention. Do it. I want to see it. Let's make this happen. But this guy put me off. And then he asked everybody in the room, do you want to be a part of this? Because we're going to pick exclusively one person that gets to try this machine, and we're going to give you this great opportunity to speak with somebody on the other side. And I was like, that's not how spirit communication works. Like, we don't win a lottery. Anybody can speak to anybody at any time. It's not like you have to have this machine. And then the machine that he had, you have to hold this like copper thing. So only one person can speak to the machine at a time, which is like kind of the antithesis of what spirit boxes are, or like what spirit communication is in general. Because like usually when you have machines like that, it's for hive mind or group communication, because you're literally using the energy in the room to boost the signal so that it's not so hard on everybody. Anyway, he took no precautions. He didn't give any kind of specifications as to like preparations, no intentions, no circles, no protection at all. Took somebody who was under 16 and did not explain to her how to ask questions. There was no verification. There was no, please give me a specific answer to something that only she would know, or please verify who you are. The questions they were asking were these very long-winded, open-ended questions. Like, do you remember that one time when we went on this one drive in the middle of this forest and we were playing this specific song? And the machine would say yes. And I would be like, that could be anybody. That could literally be anybody or anything. One part it did say, I'm behind you. She was supposed to be connecting with her dad. I'm like, we're not talking to her dad. A spirit would not say, I am behind you, unless they were trying to scare you or create some kind of like drama. And then that's when I got mad, because I was like, they're literally just setting her up to be communicated by anyone or anything. And then she was crying and hyperventilating, and they weren't giving her any kind of grounding techniques or anything. And I was like, wow, this is just the biggest shit show I've ever seen in my entire life. And the partner that was there, like managing their room, was like, this is great, isn't this amazing? And I was like, no, this is not. This is everything that you're not supposed to do. And then the other part was that like it was doing exactly what the $7 app on my phone does. And yeah, I could put that in the middle of the room and actually get the same results or better, because I have. Anyway, it incensed me. And then, of course, I had to complain about it because my moon is in Aries and I'm a bitch. So there you go. That's the short story.
When you told me this story, I got pissed off too, but I didn't realize she was so young. You said a girl, but I didn't realize she was under 16. So to me, that's just ethically a no-no anyway, to put somebody like that on a spot in the middle of a conference.
Yeah, she did raise her hand. There was only 2 or 3 people raised their hand. I did raise my hand because, like, you want to see a show, I'll give you one. But he didn't want to use me because I didn't have anyone specific that had died that I wanted to speak to, because he only wanted to talk to people that had a very emotional story, which again is a red flag for me, because he's like, "You've never had anybody around you die?" And I'm like, "No." And I was totally lying because I have. But I just wanted to see what he would say, because I know that if I got in front of the machine, somebody that I know would have come through. It's not that big of a deal. I wanted to see if he would be interested in that, but he didn't. He wanted to talk to somebody who was already emotionally fragile, and because it's more interesting that way.
It was more about the showmanship than the actual machine and spirit communication.
To me, it would have been more fun to go up there and be like, okay, let's see who comes through. Because if I don't give you anything, if I say no, nobody I know has died, and then somebody comes through, then I know with certainty that it is somebody, because they're going to have to prove that it's them. Because I've only had 2 or 3 people die, so it can only be 2 or 3 people. But I'm not going to give you that information right out of the gate.
That's easy for anything to manipulate if they know the who or the what.
I don't know why he got into quantum entanglement or quantum immortality, because the whole idea of this machine is that it uses the same concept as Huff Paranormal, which is the portal spirit box that I have on my phone. I know it's only $7, but I did a lot of research on it because I'm like, I don't want it not to work. Basically, they use pieces of, I forget what it's called, but it's pieces of words like TH, the sound ah,
Phonetics.
ra. Yeah, like phonetics, th, ma. They're the little pieces of words that you use to make other words. When they're put together, they create speech pattern.
Yeah. So it's just randomly spitting them out. Okay.
But that's the other thing too, like the words that were being said, there was only like 2 or 3 times where I was like, "Oh, that's a specific sentence." And he's, "Do you hear how clear it is?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And that's the thing, like I am a spirit box connoisseur. Like I have a bunch, I've made a bunch. I've used just about everything out there on the market.
You're really good at hearing the words.
Yeah, I can hear them
Yeah.
fine because I'm used to the static and the and that
Mhm.
was his whole thing too, was like, "Oh, it gets rid of the that sound, the and all the static." And I'm like, "Yeah, but that's easy to do. You just need to get there's a you can buy one for $20 on Amazon. It's what guitarists use to get rid of distortion. I don't think they're called an anti-distortion pedal or something like that. And all you do is you can hook it up to your spirit box and you can turn down the distortion, and then it does the same thing. What he was doing was not anything revolutionary, except he put a giant crystal in the front of it. And I'm
Well,
like, yeah, okay, good.
don't you have one that you made that has crystals all over it? And it
Yes.
has the anti-distortion?
Yes, it does. Yeah,
Yeah.
it cost me
Yeah.
$50 to make it.
Yeah.
Then I threw it away because it stopped working, and I'm gonna make a new one. But the reason why it stopped working is because I traveled with it and I broke it. The other thing that I didn't was the idea that you have to hold on to this like copper piece to connect with the machine. And then he's turning knobs, and I don't know. He didn't explain why he's turning knobs.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. If you're
Yeah,
connecting yourself to the machine through the copper, then you're influencing the machine.
exactly.
So how do you even know that it's actually something coming through and it's not just you communicating with yourself?
You don't. Psychokinesis is a great thing. It's a great projector. You got a young girl. Hello, poltergeist activity. Like, you don't know that she's just not talking to herself. It could be a feedback loop. You have no idea. You never know in those kind of situations, because every time an EVP says run or get out, I dismiss it because I'm like, oh, that's somebody in the room scared who's projecting like a lot. There's very few times that I have been in situations where that was actually accurate. Have we ever heard run or get out?
I don't think so. Usually it just tells us to go somewhere.
It just gives directions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because neither one of us are really afraid, and we don't usually bring people in that are scared or fearful. They're more curious. This whole experience really irked me, and I'm one of those people that's you investigate however you want to investigate, but it felt so performative. And then I found out that in January they have that paranormal weekend at that hotel. Do you know what I'm
Right.
talking about? I don't want to say
Yes.
it out loud, but
Right. The one that he is the official investigator of?
yes.
Yes. Okay.
The official investigator of this place that just lets you bring your equipment in and walk through the door. Like,
And
you don't
that's,
need an official investigator because you can literally just walk in.
yeah. But what about the event?
I found out that during that exclusive event, he brings his exclusive machine and you can do exclusive work with him with this machine. There's a lot of exclusive. And I'm like, why would I do that when I could just go by myself on any given day, literally, and bring my phone with me and have the same experience?
And we've done that
I know.
multiple times.
We're not talking out of our asses here. We've literally gone to that hotel with equipment in our hand and sat down in the middle of the hallway. And the people that work there just walk over us. They don't ask what you're doing. They don't ask why you're there. Sometimes they're like, hey, there was some activity over there. You might want to go over there. And they go along their way. So I don't understand this exclusiveness because there's nothing exclusive about it. Do you remember that one night we all went together? How many people did we end up picking up along the way?
Oh, geez. So we had 6, 7. We had at least 15 people, I think, at one time.
Yeah, and that was just from us having equipment in front of us and walking down the hallways. We picked up other people, and at one time everybody had rooms, and so we had 4 rooms that we could go into by the end of the night, I think.
And the major rooms, too.
Yeah, the big haunted rooms, like we had them all covered. And that was just from going there and just being really conspicuous about it. And other people will walk up to you and be like, hey, can I join what you're doing? And you're like, sure, yeah, sit down, let's do this. And then they'll bring out their equipment or whatever they have. And then people are like, do you want to go to my room? Do you want to go here? Do you want to go there? You just go with it.
The whole point is that there is no exclusivity of investigation at the, and he's just trying to sound special when he's not. So when you were telling me the story about your experience with his machine and the girl, what really upset me was the fact that he was doing this with no protections. He was not reassuring her because you said she was hyperventilating and somebody else in the crowd had to go calm her down. An entire room of people now believe that is an okay way to investigate. And there was nothing that they had to compare that to. And so they're just opening themselves up for a lot of potential harms for lots of reasons.
Right. Because there were no intentions made, no protections whatsoever. And so maybe we should talk about the things that we have done to protect ourselves. And I just want to caveat that by saying we are literally fuck around and find out people. Like, we use Ouija boards, we use tarot cards, we use Kanzari cards, we use What else do we use? You sometimes.
Right? We've used everything.
Right. Stephanie, if you could get possessed, that would be great right now. Let's do that.
Yeah.
We're not like, oh, we must all love and light. We're not like that. We have literally been like, someone says to us, we're a demon. And we're like, okay, that's great. Anyway, if you could give us some real information, that would be awesome. So we're not like love and light, safety first kind of people. We run headlong into activity. And what's the saying that we said that one time? Somebody said it was a demon, and we were like, no, it's not that big of a deal, like chill, or something like that. I can't remember, but we're those people.
Yeah, I don't even remember because it wasn't that big of a deal.
Throwing shit at us or knocking. We're like, that's awesome. Anyway, so
Yeah,
I just
tell us something. Tell us something important. We want to know details. We don't care.
so we're not, what I'm trying to say is we're not like, oh my god, you have to do it this certain way. We're not gatekeepers. We're not those kinds of people. But we do believe that there is some, I don't know what's the right word.
You still have to be aware of what you're doing because you can't open yourself up to potential manipulation or attachments.
Yeah, or the trickster energy is large, man. It's when you move into the liminal, expect the trickster always. You're going to encounter that, and most of the times when things have said I'm a demon, that's why I'm like, oh, trickster energy is here. Cool. All right. And you got to move that out of the way, or else you're just gonna be punked. Or thought forms too. Thought forms like to come in and create narratives and tell the same story over and over again. You're like, yeah, okay, whatever. This isn't real. Now what I do? And that's okay to call things out to you and be like, yeah, you're not real anyway. Moving on, let's get to the real stuff now. Because, like, how many times have we gone to a place and people are like, oh, these are the ghosts there?
That's not who we communicate with at all. They don't even show up or they refuse to show up.
Or they show up for 30 seconds and then we're like, okay, anyway. And then that was fun. And then move on. Let's do some real work here. I want to talk about the fee house a little bit and what we figured out there because that was interesting. And this is because of that protocol, because you have to have your like wits about you. You can't just believe everything is real. So what happened at the fee house?
When I went with you,
Yeah.
well, nothing but a lot.
Right?
So we went in expecting that we were going to communicate with the ghosts that everyone else communicates with. We came in after Kindred Spirits had done their episode in the house. So we had somewhat of knowledge of what they had done and who they had communicated with and how the episode was going to be, what it was going to be hinting at. And so we attempted to communicate with the same people, and they did not show up for us at all. Beforehand, we had done several different techniques. We had the dream machine and we did ST session. We also pulled cards to get an idea of what we were doing. And our reading of the people who supposedly haunt the house was not the stories that have been told. It was a completely different story. And then the owner actually backed up a little bit of what we had discovered through our own investigation. We did have some confirmation on that.
Yeah, it was a little bit strange because the story that we had compiled had nothing to do with what other people had gotten. And what's weird about that too is I went separately like a year before that with other people who investigate there all the time, and I went up into the second floor where most of the activity was, and I have video, I found it just recently, of like, balls going off, sounds. They're asking the spirit in that room to communicate with them, and it was doing the thing, and I was like, that's interesting that they're able to have that kind of response. But when we went there, that's not who we contacted at all, not even a little bit.
Even kindred spirits, there were two different entities that they spoke to or were communicating as through Estes. And those two spirits, according to them in their session, did not know that each other existed in that location, which was interesting. And that was a red flag for us as well.
Yes, because they live together. How would they not know that they're there?
If it was really the entity.
Wouldn't they be, not to say that they would be interacting, because you don't have to interact with people when you're dead, but it does seem weird that they wouldn't know that they're in the same place?
Or at least because they're both energetic, they would sense that other energy.
You would
Or
think.
know that it was there.
Yeah. Which I thought was so odd that they didn't at all. But we thought that they were thought forms, not the real people. And I think the people that were messing with things on the second floor were creating thought forms of the two people. Because that's the other thing too, like when we did the readings and we did our stuff, like the personalities of the two people were so different than what other people have told me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, we came upon some really angry, frustrated people, like living double lives kind of stuff. Like, why do we pick up on that and not these like fun people that just want to talk and play around with balls and turn on mechanical things and lights?
Because that's not what real people do.
True. But yeah, we had this completely different experience. Completely different. But again, I think that's because we just have a different protocol. We don't accept everything as communication.
Yeah.
What are the things that we have done for protocol? Like, one of the things that I always do is I always try to create a circle of some sort. And we always have one focused intention.
We usually eat and share a meal together. So then you're relaxed and you're not in a space of high anxiety or stress. So you're going in calm and aware of what you're doing.
You're right. I always forget about that. We always have some kind of communion outside of the investigation. We always say we intend to speak to somebody for the highest good. Like, it doesn't matter who comes in, but we're not here for tricksters. We're not here for negative entities. Like, we list all the things that we don't want to talk about or talk to. We're like, we're not interested in any of these things. So if you're those things, go away.
We're also aware of how big our energy is and that we are in control. And so we direct and we don't allow other things to, I guess, take control. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Okay.
If we do have somebody trickstery come in, we're always like, yeah, I'm not talking to you anyway. Move on.
We command the situation.
Right. There's no, oh my God, it's talking to us. I think that's one of the things that we do very well is we have the expectation that something is going to talk to us, and then we get to discern who we talk to and who we do not.
If you go in a hyper emotional state, or you're fearful, or maybe you have opened yourself up because you have been drinking or taking some other substance that alters your state of mind, then you can't necessarily be in control of the situation. And then you open yourself up to all of those unnecessary situations that people try to, I guess, they use to convince you not to do spirit communication.
True. And we're not saying you can't have a beer or a drink during dinner, because we always do. But it's like 1, 2, not 7. You know what I mean? Be relaxed. Don't be drunk. There's a difference. One of the things we also do is we always ask very specific questions. There's no leading. There's
Right.
never, do you remember that one time when we did that one thing? We never give specifics. We always ask for clarification, validation, or direct communication. We never give prompts. So if we don't
Right.
understand something, we say, please give us clarity. What does that mean? Or what are you trying to express? Or give us some
Yeah.
keywords.
Right. Or if we're using a talking board, do you know how to use this?
Do you know what this is?
Sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they're spelling stupid things and you're like, do you know how to use this? Do you know how to spell?
Right. And that can give you clues on who you're talking to.
That is true. As a stone line in a month ago or whatever. I did, it was 2 in the morning and I said, I was feeling brazen, but I'm like, you don't know how to spell very well. Who are you? I'm not picking up what you're laying down because, like, you can't use words. And it literally said, F you. He didn't even spell it out. He just put F and then you. And I was like, you're making my point for me. Okay, thanks.
Using that text language.
Yeah, it was like talk to text or something on the Ouija board.
BRB.
Pretty much. And I was like, we're not talking to anybody from a different time. This is somebody in the present because there's no way. The language was too, like, texty.
Yeah.
So that can give you clues to, like, vernacular, how words are expressed. One of the things that we do is we don't believe all the ghost stories that we hear.
True.
We go into a place, we read the ghost stories, and then we go anyway, and then we're like, okay, that's probably the expectation of what the phenomena is going to look like, but then we bypass it and go, okay, what else is going on here that's not being said? Because 90% of the time, the things that you read about are just thought for me things. They're things that people have decided. And 90% of those stories are not true, they are made up. Time again, we have come across this where we find out that an investigator made up that story because of their experience and it got published somewhere, or literally the people in the building made up stories
to make it more intriguing, exciting, dramatic.
Yes,
Pick your favorite word.
all of them. And we realize that, oh, this has nothing to do with reality, and the activity you're picking up is not real. I think that's the part of spirit communication that people don't talk about a lot. Is half the time you're not even really talking to anybody. You're talking to whatever was put there. Like, how many times have we gone to a place and it's been put there?
Everywhere.
You're all of them.
I think everywhere we have gone, there has been some sort of thought form or story that has been created that's not the reality.
Right. And if you just want to have that experience, great, do that. But I think there's a better way.
And I think for a lot of people, they don't know any different because their experience is coming from watching kindred spirits or ghost hunters. And so they don't know that there is another way or another expectation to have.
Or they're just there to get an EVP or kind of communication.
Or they sit through a session like you did where the quote that has exclusive knowledge has no clue what they're doing.
And I think that's what's frustrating for me, especially, is this idea that it's exclusive, that you need a machine or somebody to speak to someone that's passed over. This little girl was seriously wrecked by her father's passing. She was really close to him. And you can tell by the way that she was grieving that she really missed his presence. And now she's going to come back from that experience thinking that she has to have some great machine in order to speak with her father. And I don't think that's the case. You can speak to anybody at any time. I truly believe that. You don't even need a spirit box for that. You could use whatever you want.
Yeah, there's all kinds of ways to communicate. And that's the annoying thing too for me about cemeteries is people want to go to the cemetery, to the grave to talk to the person. I'm like, why do you have to do that? You can do that at home. I get going to the cemetery, but then at the same time, I don't have to go there to talk to the people. I want to talk to my grandpa. I can talk to him right now.
And what do you think are like the easiest ways to talk to a deceased loved one?
Cards. Because
I know
anybody
that
can do that. Anybody can just pull some cards and get an answer.
Yeah. I find that's the easiest way too, because they have
Yeah.
specific decks for that. I know there's some medium ones out there where they're literally just keywords that come up for people. And that way you can use the images, you can use whatever's coming up, your intuition, to put in the details. I always tell people to try automatic writing because that's really easy, but people think it's so scary. You don't
It's
like
not,
that?
I'm just not good at it.
Oh,
But I can do it. And there's things that I write that I can't interpret, but you can interpret. I know that we did do an automatic writing session one time, and out of the whole session, I had 2 words. I think that made sense. And it was definitely not me because it had to do with a painting of the London fires that I didn't even know was a thing, but I got the title of it.
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Y'all, 2 words that meant a whole bunch.
Yeah. But other than that, I wouldn't say that's easy. It's probably is easy for some people because we're all different. But I think just overall, for anybody that wanted to start, get a deck of cards and just flip over cards and practice that way.
Yeah. I do find that automatic writing is really easy for me, but I am a writer, so it makes sense to me that it would write things down, and I know other people that it's really easy. But even if you get 2 words is a lot. You can do a lot of research with 2 words, and that's the other thing that I would say is do research. If you, what were we getting there forever? Rose red forever. Like every time we went to this certain place, it would say rose red. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And I'm pretty sure that came through on the app on your phone.
It did. It was the app on my phone. The app on my phone is called Portal, by the way. It's by Huff Paranormal. It's $7. It's a great app. It actually does work. I've taken it to many places throughout the United States. I have a real spirit box. I've got ones that I've made, but the app actually works the best. And it actually speaks backwards. So if you hear it forwards, that means that you're actually getting communication and you will know the difference real quick. But it was saying rose red forever. And we were like, what is Rose Red? And Rose Red is actually a movie by Stephen King about a house that is alive. The house is the entity all into itself. And that led us down a whole rabbit hole about thought forms and about the batteries that create paranormal activity and why certain places are more haunted than others. And just those 2 words that we kept hearing, I was like, there has to be something to this. So what do? I go and do research about it because as you're doing the research, the universe is, oh, you want to know. Let me just throw all these things at you. And you'll start to have coincidences and things will start to happen and people will start to say keywords or things that you got in your sessions. And then you'll realize, okay, the universe is actually trying to tell me something. How many times has that happened to us?
Daily. Yeah, that's a normal occurrence.
Right, because we're tuned in. It's never just about the spirit communication you get in the moment. It's paying attention and listening.
Because it is quantum and it is multi-layered. but you have to be aware of that. And I guess you have to stay open.
That's the other thing too. Sometimes things don't make sense for years.
Or it has multiple meanings.
Yeah, or it has multiple meanings. Like we have written stuff down or gotten phrases where like this makes no sense. And then 3 or 4 months go by and somebody literally says the phrase and you're like, what? Wait, what? Like verbatim. And you're like, okay, it makes sense now. Or we've had things happen years ago that make sense now, that are happening in real time now.
Okay, so if somebody is interested in doing spirit communication the correct way, what like bulleted list would you give them to start? Like, where would they start?
I think the first thing is to know who you want to communicate with or what your intention is. Be very specific about it. If you're going into a haunted location, specifically, who do you want to speak to? Or if you don't want to speak to one person, then it has to be whoever is here for my highest good. We gotta acknowledge the trickster and then tell them to F off. I think that would be the first one. If you're doing it with group people, you already said it, which is have some kind of communion with them. Go out to dinner, spend some time with them, do something beforehand.
Lighten the mood. It doesn't always have to be serious.
Yeah. Know your equipment. That's the other thing. If you're going to use a spirit box, know about the spirit box. Read about it. Where did it come from? What does it do? And don't just trust people on TV. Don't do that. Pick your poison, basically. Anything with blinky lights. I think one of the things, too, is don't be afraid to tell something to fuck off. And don't be afraid to say, I don't believe you. Prove it. Don't be afraid to say, I don't think you are who you say you are if you're getting a weird feeling about it. Pay attention to your intuition. That's another one. We always do that, though.
Yeah.
What would be some of the other ones that you've done that you do naturally?
I don't have any expectations. I usually go in, I guess I go in expecting something to happen, but I don't have any expectations about what that something is going to be. Like I go in for fun just to see what will happen. Because anytime we ever did any exercises in your group or even investigating, that's what it's all for fun and play. Like I've not been super serious about any of it because I just want to see what will happen, what I'm capable of, what something else is capable of.
That's a great way of looking at it. So people go in so serious sometimes. I'm like, okay. Cool. And the other thing too is you don't need equipment. That's a big one. You don't have to do it at night. You can do it any time of the day.
Yeah. I was at a Civil War site one afternoon by myself and I just walked around and poof, somebody showed up and was riding a horse next to me and had a little moment there, middle of the day.
See, that's
no
awesome.
Equipment. Yeah.
I would say too, we write stuff down a lot. Or we record stuff a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely have some sort of documenting device.
Also, if they tell you to go down the stairs or to do something, go and do it. Don't be afraid. There are plenty of times when it literally said, go here, go there, meet this person. You're like, what? Okay. And we packed up all of our stuff and did it.
We say it says to go downstairs. We go downstairs and we run into people that have information we need or provided an opportunity. Sometimes there's reasons why you get that information that you don't know.
And the other thing too is pay attention because sometimes it's right in front of you and you just don't even realize. That's happened to me sometimes. What is it trying to say? And then you look over, you're like, oh, it's right there. They're trying to show you a room or a piece of furniture or a picture or something to explain it to you better because they don't have sometimes spirits don't have the words. So they try to show you in a different way. So you have to pay attention to how you're feeling, what you're thinking of, what, like, your surroundings, because a lot of times they'll try to use that. And don't be afraid to say, yeah, when I was talking to this spirit, I kept seeing balloons, because that probably means something. Or I'm getting this kind of feeling. Like, pay attention to your thoughts and feelings along the way. I would say the other thing, don't ask questions that are leading. Tell the spirit to give you the answers. We're not giving them the answers, they're giving us the answers. They're giving us specifics, names, dates, details, colors, people, places, things. Like, if you be open, they will give you the information. You don't need to lead at all.
If you are asking yes or no questions, anybody can answer yes or no. It's not giving you any confirmation.
The only times we've ever asked yes or no questions is like when we're using a KT meter and it's, okay, are you literally here? Really? Okay, show us. And then it'll say 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Right.
And then it'll blink. Even if it says no, and it says 2 for no, you're like, okay, you're here because you obviously told us no. And sometimes they're just like that. They're like, no. And you're like, okay, but you just did it. Hello. So it's just being open. Like at the fee house, do you remember that one time we were in the fee house and we were asking questions and we getting answers from people walking by?
Or the horns would honk in response to a question. Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't even in the room. Like, we were asking questions and there were things happening outside that were answering, and they probably didn't even know they were answering the question. Like, we asked for some kind of validation that somebody was there, and a whole bunch of cars, or was it motorcycles that drove by?
I think it was motorcycles.
Yeah, with their horns.
But then I think there was another time that a car drove by with the radio playing.
That's right.
And there was a song that answered us.
Right. So look for outside influence. That's another thing. I think the big one is, don't think that spirit communication is exclusive. There's nothing exclusive about this field, and there's no experts. Everybody is just winging it. Everybody.
Right. You don't have to be fourth generation psychic or have any special, I don't know, gifts or powers or exclusive rights to anything.
Yeah, I think that's what's frustrating to me about that whole situation, was it was very like, you have to use this machine, you have to do it this way. And there is none of that. I literally could have thrown that machine away in the garbage and put everybody down in a circle and said, hey, let's do a little. A lot of times I will do grounding exercises too, just because people are nervous. So we do, sometimes if I feel like there's a lot of nervousness, I will ground everybody and be like, okay, let's breathe, let's calm down, let's take all of our fears and put it into the ground. So that's what I would have done. I would have grounded everybody and then said, who do you want to talk to? What do you want to do? Or do you want to just see who comes up? And then played around with people and said, okay, what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's coming up for you? And let's do it that way. And if the little girl wanted to do it, I would have been like, okay, get in the middle of the circle. We're going to talk to your dad. You sit there. Let's all focus on that and see what happens. And just played around with it and let people do like keywords. What's a thought that you have right now? What's a feeling that you're having right now? What colors are you seeing? And just use that for like group hive mind. That's the other thing too. We do notice if you have more people, you get better results. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Because it's amplifying everything.
And everybody that's participating will get possibly a different version or a different side of what's going on, because not everybody sees things the same way.
Yes, I love that. Because everybody's picking up on the same thing. You get more information that way because everybody is looking at it different. Yeah. And we've had people that aren't psychic do this with us. We're not talking just psychic people, and they end up getting stuff because they're just paying attention. So I think that's another thing. You don't have to be psychic. You just have to be open-minded.
Yeah, I actually did an investigation with my mom, my aunt, and my cousin. And they are intuitive, they are psychic, but they don't know it. But we did an SD session where I think I was the one listening and they were asking me questions. And my cousin was picking up on who we were talking to without knowing who we were talking to. Based on the words I was saying, she was able to intuit who had come in to talk to us. But my mom and my aunt were oblivious to what was going on. And so they took the conversation in a completely different direction. That's where the paying attention to your intuition and what else is going on around you is important.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, though. And the other thing, too, is if you do want to talk to a specific person, make sure you say their name. I would say something like, I want to talk to so-and-so. This is their full name and this is their full birthday. Nobody else come in. So try to have details like that. But don't say brown hair, blue, all that. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
But name and birthday usually works. And we want to speak to only that person. You can say that out loud. We only want to speak to that person and that person only. So if you're not that person, go away. And then when somebody does come forward, then you ask a clarifier. Tell me something that only I would know. It could be a color, a person, place, or thing. It doesn't have to be a full sentence. It just has to be something specific that only I would know. And that's how you keep keep the field clean, I guess is how they say it.
Right. Like that TikTok we were doing where I was playing with the Konsari cards. Somebody had asked to speak to, was it their dad or their grandpa?
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was. And I got a card that was underground. And that meant something to her. Remember, she's, oh, could it be a basement? Because they were all worried about the basement renovation, which I had no idea. I was like, oh, did you bury something? Is there's something, a time capsule? But it was literally underground. It was the basement. And she knew exactly what I was talking about. So there was clarification that we were actually communicating with her family member.
Yes. See, that's what I'm saying. Then we know exactly who it is. Because there are tricksters out there. There are things that like to play with you. Like I said before, as soon as the thing said, I'm behind you, I'm like, yeah, we're not talking to her dad. Why would her dad say, I'm behind you to somebody who's scared? That makes no sense.
And if it was her dad and they were that close, why would he come in behind her anyway?
Wouldn't he be beside her or in front of her or try to hold her hand or something like that?
Let's see, and at that point, you're in a room full of people and nobody questions it. So is it they don't think to question that? Or is it they're afraid?
I don't understand. Why not question? Why not, what's your name? Who are you? What do you look like? Give me something. Why are we just assuming that because you can hear it on your machine that it's that person? Even when we get people in haunted places, we write stuff down and then we look these people up because we want to make sure that we're talking to something. And even if sometimes it's not the person, we're like, okay, trickster. But a lot of times it is.
Or we look for information to back up what we received and not just somebody else's story, like actual historical evidence where possible.
I don't like the douchebaggery in the paranormal. I think that's always been a bone of contention for me. Like, why do we have to be that way? It's not that deep. Or why do we have to have all this special equipment? That's the other thing too. Like a REM pod, they use them all the time, and I'm like, they're $150. Like, why do we need $150 EMF thing that beeps? Like, why? They're great to have, but like, you could get a ghost, what do they call them? The ghost meters for $40 online, and it does the same fucking thing. And it's like, old school. Like, why do we have to have all this specialized equipment? I've gotten the best responses from a talking board or dowsing rods that cost me a total of $30 together. Throws me so off. Here's my thousands of dollars of equipment. And they're like, I've heard people say, oh, yeah, I'm so lucky to have this stuff. I'm like, you're not lucky. You just don't have kids. Like, you have
Yeah.
disposable income. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more of an ego trip than actual concern about spirit communication.
Yes, it's look at all my stuff. Yes. Like, I don't care. I'm going to walk in the same place and get better results with my stupid K2 meter and my dowsing rods. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
So don't feel like you have to have special equipment or like some kind of special power. It's not how it works.
Use discernment when you're listening to people talk about spirit communication and paranormal investigation in general. If they are trying to elicit an emotional response out of you, then they're probably not coming from the right place.
True that. Anytime you hear the word exclusive, I'm a big deal. I've been on this many shows. I'm awesome. Red flags. Red flags. Or if somebody says they're a paranormal expert, because there's no such thing.
Right.
I love when people, like, you go on shows and I'm a paranormal expert. I'm like, expert in what? We don't even know what the hell is going on here. You're using equipment that we got at Lowe's from people use for plumbing and electrical problems. What are you an expert in? We don't even know if any of this shit works.
Yeah. Or what you're really talking to.
Or what you're really talking to. You're probably talking to yourself half the time. Like, half of the time, I'm sitting in a dark room and I get responses and I'm like, is that just me? Am I just talking to my higher self right now? Thinking that I'm talking to a spirit? Am I just a fucking idiot right now? This is great. Anyway.
Am I just making the doors open and the lights flicker?
Yeah, and you can totally do that. That's the thing.
Oh, do you want to talk on that
On what?
a little bit? Just on how your energy can affect your surroundings like that?
Oh my god, yeah, your energy totally can, and we've done it before too. That's the thing. You got to be really careful with that because people think that if there is something, like if there is a phenomenon or something happens, that it's automatically a spirit, and like 90% of the time it's you. If you're in a heightened state, yes, you can move doors, you can have lights flicker on and off. Like, I have been to so many haunted places and I'm all like, I'm sorry, it's you. You are the phenomenon. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you're probably mad about something or upset about something. And did somebody just die recently? You just get out of divorce. Like, heightened experiences and you're not dealing with it, it'll come out in weird ways. And a lot of times it shows up as lights flickering, it shows up as cabinets opening and closing. And my most favorite is a dark shadow in your hallway. That is my most favorite. As soon as I hear dark shadow in my hallway and flickering lights, I'm all, it's you. It's totally you. Because it's literally just a reflection of how you're feeling inside. So we totally affect our environment completely. Women, especially because we repress our emotions so much, they come out in weird ways. I was just talking to somebody that she was having all kinds of plumbing problems. And I'm all, are you by chance a water sign? And her rising was Cancer. And I was like, it's you. You're going to affect the water in your house because you're not paying attention to your emotions. And you think that you don't belong and you're mad. And so you're creating water problems. And she's like, yes, I am. My feelings are so repressed. I feel like I don't exist. And I'm like, you do, because as soon as you calm down, your water problems are going to be fixed. And it was true. As soon as she started talking about it and created some boundaries, though, it stopped.
Yeah, I can second that experience. Yeah.
How,
I've had my fair share of plumbing issues and flooding of my house.
and it's usually when you're upset, huh?
Yes. The first time it happened was, let's see, one of my kids was just a few months old. So I was going through all of the emotional fluctuations of pregnancy and plus a lot of other life issues going on. And all of a sudden, my washer hose gets clogged up and floods my entire house.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And that used to happen quite frequently.
See?
Yeah.
We affect our realities so much we don't even realize it. The other thing too is if you have a lot of fears around death or the paranormal, or you're afraid that you are going to be, I love when people say, I'm afraid that I'm gonna get mounted or possessed. And I'm like,
Mm,
do you know how hard it is to get possessed? It doesn't just happen.
right.
You have to like willingly let the thing come in you. It's not just like, I'm possessed now.
And then
And
what are you afraid of when that happens? What is it actually going to
two,
do? Yeah.
if you've ever had something speak through you, most people haven't, but it's not what you think it is. I don't know how to explain it better, but it's not.
Right. You're still in control.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of the fear is for people, is that if you're possessed, you have lost control and you have no willpower over what your body is doing. And it's the fear of losing control more than anything. And that's not how it works.
No, it's not. And that 1% that people that have been possessed, I've talked to people that have had people that were possessed. Usually there is some underlying issue there where the person already is susceptible to, it's usually mental issues or emotional issues where they're already breaking. I don't know what the right word is. You know what I'm trying to say though, that their personality is already fractured. So it's easier. But if you're like a normal person, even with emotional issues, or even if you're taking SSRIs or whatever, if you have autonomy of your body, that doesn't change when a spirit even tries to talk to you. It's not the same. I don't know. It's like your personality gets pushed aside a little bit, but you're still you. And as soon as you want to break it, you break it. It's okay, I'm done. That's it. Done. And it goes away.
Once again, you control the situation.
But a lot of people are afraid of that. And so if you are afraid, you're going to have get out, run. You're going to have weird voices on your EVPs. You're going to have a lot of knocks. You're going to have a lot of things moving because that's you. That's your fear. It's physical. And once you realize that, it stops. Because once the fear dies down, then that's when you get like real communication. So even if things do happen, you have to gauge it through that. Was it me? How fearful was I? What was my mental state at the time?
So a lot of people have these stories about using a Ouija board and these weird things happen. But the majority of people that are going into that situation already have this preconceived notion of what it's going to be like, or they've watched The Exorcist. And so there's an underlying fear. So obviously something is going to go sideways and reflect that fear back to you.
Exactly. It's so much is about intention and mindset. That's why we say go out with your friends. If you're going to go investigating, go out with your friends. Go have dinner and a cocktail and just feel good about the situation. You're going to have a much better experience. You're going to have like real experiences because you don't care what's going to happen. Just whatever happens is going to happen. And then when the thing does come flying at you, you're going to know it's real. I laugh because it's happened to me before. We were in this haunted sanitarium. Why am I laughing about it? It wasn't funny at the time, but we were in a circle, and I think it's funny because the person was with us, we have to give this girl to the light. I'm like, how many times has this girl been to the light? I think I've actually been in a circle for the same ghost because I don't believe in putting things to the light because I think they come back. But anyway, so we're all in the circle and it got really serious really quick, and everyone was meditating, create the portal of light so the little girl could go into the light. And I can't take it seriously to save my life. And a flashlight flew across the room and it scared the shit out of me. And I just remember going, I think she went to the light because I didn't know what to say. Oh my god, but it was the scariest thing that ever happened to me because I was like, wow. I've never seen this happen before either. It picked itself up, flipped, and hit the wall. I was like, okay. But yeah. So things do happen. It's just, you gotta laugh about it. If you're afraid, maybe just don't do it for a little while, or work on cemeteries, or I don't know.
Or go with people that know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's
And
true too.
yeah, for the first time, go with somebody that knows what they're doing, and then from there, nerves calm.
Yeah, that's true too. Because like we had a bunch of newbies with us, and like I said, that thing in the basement said I'm a demon. It said it was a demon, and we're like, no, it's fine. It's not a big deal. People say they're demons all the time to us. And everyone was like, oh, okay, we're not gonna worry about it. And it calmed everybody down really quick, just because like we didn't think it was a demon. Could be anything at that point. That's the other thing too I would say is don't expect everything to be demons or negative. If it says it's a demon or it's negative, that doesn't even mean that it's that. Demonic stuff is so few and far between. Out of all of the places that I've ever experienced, I think I've come across something like that like maybe once. So it's not as prevalent as they make it out on TV. That's one thing that I want to tell everybody, because it's not a thing. It's not a thing. People are assholes. If you're an asshole in real life, you're going to be an asshole as a ghost. A lot of times it's just people being assholes or entities being assholes.
And if it feels off or different, it doesn't mean that it's negative or evil.
True. It might just not be human. And you will encounter things that aren't human, and they do have a totally different signature. And they feel really weird. We've encountered stuff like that too, especially out in the forest. Yeah, so there you go. There are some ways to like keep shit real. The last thing I want to say is if you have any questions, feel free to message us. We will answer questions.
Thank you for listening to the NVus Alien Podcast. For show notes, go to the website www.nvusalien.com. All of the reference materials and mentions in this episode are linked there. If you want more witchy, paranormal, and fringe content, please subscribe to my Substack. Just search Heather Ashera, that's Heather Ashera, or check the link in the show notes. And as always, see you on the flip side.